My name is Emily Hall, and I'm a junior at East, and my question is, what are the majors?
Hi, Emily. Your question is a good one because I like to tell students that there's one major with lots of choices. The first choice you have to make is, as a writing studies major, do you want to emphasize journalism or do you want to emphasize professional writing? Within those choices, you have more choices to make. Do you want to emphasize visual communication? Do you want to emphasize written communication? Do you want to emphasize editing? What are the kinds of skills and what are the kinds of writing you want to practice? So it's not a question of what are the majors, it's a question of how many choices there are to make, and there are plenty.
My name is Sam Watrous, and I'm a junior, and I was wondering what kind of jobs your graduates get.
Hi, Sam. I can tell you about a handful of students I've worked with. Some students do go on to get jobs in journalism. Other students find jobs working, for example, with polling agencies, public relations agencies, preparing documents for relationships with clients, with customers. I have a handful of students who in the professional writing track who've gone on to graduate school, which I'm very excited about. It's really an exciting opportunity because we give you a flexible skill set that opens you up to a lot of jobs. And journalism students go on to non-journalism careers, and professional writing students sometimes do work that relates to journalism. And so really, the choices are more than you might think. An internship is the key. Get an internship.
My name is Jordan Tisdale. I'm a senior here at Duluth East High School, and my question is, what's the difference between the journalism track and professional track?
So there are required courses in each of the tracks, and one of the ways to think about the differences are the differences in the required courses. Journalism track students are required to take 2 editing courses and 2 reporting courses and 1 digital storytelling course, and then after that they have a great menu of electives to choose from. Their electives include the professional writing courses. The professional writing students are required to take 1 course in business writing, 1 course in visual communication, visual rhetoric as we call it, 1 course in research methods, and 1 course in writing and culture, a course about how writing helps us transmit and relate cultural values and things like that. Now their electives are the journalism courses, so in fact it's kind of a mix and match, if you will. The primary difference between the 2 tracks is how you choose your courses and how you market yourself when you're done, though in fact you'll find that a lot of the skills exist across both tracks.
Hi, my name is Lynn Jensen, and I'm a senior at East High School, and I was wondering if the UMD paper has the freedom of press.
Well, Lynn, freedom of the press. It's interesting that college papers have more of it than high school papers. The courts have said in numerous cases that high school newspapers are still under the jurisdiction of the administration. Administrators have a right in high school to control somewhat what's in the newspaper. And the courts have said repeatedly that college papers are not like that. College newspapers are newspapers, and that the administration, no one on campus outside the newspaper can control what goes on in the newspaper. So yeah, I think it is fair to say that a university newspaper does have more freedom of the press than a high school paper.
My name is Bree Mulder, and I'm a senior at East. I was just wondering, what can I do now as a high school student to prepare myself for a major in journalism in college?
If I had to give advice to people about trying to be ready to be a journalism major, here's what I'd say, Bree. I think the best thing you can do to be ready would be to have read widely. I'm surprised sometimes when I meet people who want to be journalism majors and they haven't read that much journalism. And I'm sorry, I think it shows in their writing sometimes, usually. I think the best thing you could do right now is to be conversant with a lot of different kinds of journalism. Watch film documentaries, read newspapers, look at websites, know what's out there.
I'm Michael Jackson. I'm a junior here at East, and my question is, what skills do I need to do well in the writing studies department?
Hi, Michael. Boy, study a lot. Sleep. The worst thing a student can do as a college student in any major, in any class, is to not be rested, because when you're not rested, you're not performing your best. This all requires time management. Our courses do require a lot of writing, and a lot of students have a hard time with that, but I think you'll find writing is easier if you come to it refreshed and rested rather than exhausted. Other skills you need. People think because it's a writing major that maybe you can kind of hide a little, if you know what I mean. But the number one thing a writer needs to do is interact with people. And so be comfortable with other people. Converse with them. Learn how to talk with them in a way that helps you understand what they need from you as a writer, or how they can help you write what you want to write as an interview or something else. I guess I would call those the two most important things you can work on now. Your ability to balance your time so that you're efficient and rested, and your ability to relate to other people so that you can work well with them.
I'm Ray Allgood, and I'm a sophomore, and my question is, are there any creative writing aspects to the major?
Is there a creative angle? In my heart, the major is itself largely creative in lots of different ways. First of all, students in the journalism track often describe what they do as storytelling, right? So the art of telling a newspaper story is very often the art of telling a story about a person, a place, an event, or a community. And that's a very important thing. We even call one of our most exciting courses digital storytelling, because it's storytelling not just with words, but also with pictures. Visual creativity is essential in this major, whether you take digital storytelling in the journalism emphasis, or whether you take visual rhetoric in the professional writing emphasis, or whether you take both. You'll find that you have to create with images, create with color, using digital technologies, Photoshop, web design, skills like that. But I think for me the most important part of creativity in this major is the process of creating yourself. Writing is a process by which you learn how to interact with the world, with other people, with institutions, with people who have power, with people who don't. Writing is a process of kind of creating who you are as you interact with other people. In this major, you create who you are as a professional, someone who's seeking a job, a career which uses your writing skills. You create who you are as a citizen, because some of the most powerful people in politics are people who know how to write, how to communicate with other citizens, with their leaders in their country. You don't have to be a politician to do this. You can work for a community agency and all sorts of other possibilities. And lastly, you get to create who you are as an individual. The old-fashioned classical rhetorical term for this is ethos. You construct your ethos. You construct who you are by writing out what you think and how you think it and how it relates to the ideas in the world. So there's creativity everywhere you turn in this major, and I hope you'll think about joining us for some of that creativity when you graduate.
I'm Callie, and I'm a sophomore at East, and I was wondering how involved the Statesman newspaper is with the journalism students in the Writing Studies Department.
Callie, the UMD Statesman and the journalism department are linked in that many of the people who work at the paper are journalism majors. It's probably not very surprising. But there are a bunch of people who work at the paper who are not journalism majors. There are a few who've never taken a journalism class. They've just been interested in, and the newspaper is the kind of place that brings people on up, and they'll do their best to train people from the ground up. But most of the people who actually kind of run the show, the editors and such, most of them are journalism students, at least minors, just because I think they have a leg up in understanding how journalism works because of the classes. So there isn't a formal tie between the newspaper and the department. The newspaper is a freestanding student organization, but yeah, there are some pretty visible links.